Hello everyone, and welcome to another installment of Erinn's Book Club. I have another book review to do, and I figured I might as well get it done and over with so I can get it online. So, I've been in a, I guess you would call it, grade book reading kick lately. Trying to just enjoy reading for reading instead of trying to get, like, the biggest, best books or whatever. So I've been really enjoying the Black Stallion series because I only ever read the first one and went from there. So the review I'm going to do for you today is Son of the Black Stallion by Walter Farley. I don't know if you can see the cover. It's a pretty beat up old book because I got it used on Amazon. But I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed the book. It is about, of course, the son of the Black Stallion, and at first I was a little bit worried because everything's been about the Black Stallion, and I thought, okay, so this is going to be another one of basically a copy of the Black Stallion, but it really wasn't. The wildness that was in the stallion was a meanness that wasn't in the other stallion, so that was kind of cool. What I wanted to bring in and discuss today was kind of the different dynamics between the family relationship. Now, first and foremost, this will not be spoiler free, so if you haven't read this book, turn off, read the book, come back. So, I first want to talk about the father and son relationship. So, the father and son seem to be, in the first book, real strangers to each other, and even in the second book they were kind of strangers to each other. Got each both living in the same house. There was a respect there, but they didn't really get along. And it was actually addressed in this book, and it was addressed really well about how this boy was kind of like struggling to get the approval of his father and still be his own man kind of thing and still do what he wants. Now, the parents in this book seem to be, I don't know, kind of softer, taking a back burner kind of approach, letting the child do what he wants, worrying about, of course, the child, but not really parenting, so to speak. And I kind of had written them off as just kind of background characters. In this book, the father and the mother both came into the foreground, and we got to know them just a little bit better. I got a new respect for the father, for his strength. And at the same time, the relationship between Henry and Alex was brought to the forefront, and how that relationship went, and how it actually changed because of the way Henry treated Satan. And through all of it, how Alex had decided that Satan was actually a good horse, but struggling his ancestry, where Henry decided that the horse was just a killer and needed to be, fixed that way. And throughout the struggle of how Satan had tried to really hurt Alex, and Henry watching this go on, and how eventually Alex was put into the hospital, and Henry said, enough is enough, we need to break this horse. And he went down to the old ways of basically roping the horse, and beating him into submission kind of thing. I'm going to say basically because he didn't actually win. I think in the long run, the horse, it was like a stalemate. They kind of fought each other until they both couldn't fight anymore. And that fight, that having someone overpower the stallion, I think made the stallion more approachable. And because Alex could play the rescuer and help the stallion, that made that bond happen as well. But at the same point, it kind of destroyed a bit of the relationship between Henry and Alex, because Alex believed that the stallion was basically good and hated Henry for beating his horse. And I'm having a hard time making a judgment on this situation, because if it was my horse and I found out somebody else had beat him, I would be very angry, and I probably would continue to be very angry and have a really hard time forgiving that, especially if this guy was going to be my trainer. But at the same time, this horse was in fact dangerous, and this horse did in fact hurt Alex. So part of me thinks of what Henry did as being very heroic and trying to help Alec in the long run. And I honestly think that the horse would not have been as well-behaved as he ended up being if Alec hadn't been in there to save the day, quote unquote, and bond with the stallion. I love how the author then used that event throughout the rest of the book, and how there was a little bit of friction between the two, between Alex and Henry, that wasn't there before, because of the difference of opinion. And there was the friction, but there wasn't absolute hatred. And there were ramifications for the actions that were done. So I gotta say, I really, really enjoy Walter Farley's approach to this book. I really enjoy his approach to the relationships that are in the book. I can see how the first two books were written basically by a younger man, because I guess it was written right out of school, it's his undergraduate class. And this book is written more by a grown man who understands the relationship of people more than he did. And that came into the book. So even though this book is a child's book that young folk, I think, are thoroughly going to enjoy, there is also a lot to learn in this book that us old folk can figure out. So I'm very excited to order the next one, and I'm very surprised at how deep this book got and was still very entertaining. So let me finish off here by reading you the back of the book, just so you know what you're getting into. But any of you guys that are into horse racing or anything like that should really pick this up, because this was actually a very good read. So here's the back. When Alec receives the Black Stallion's first son as a gift, he believes his dreams have come true. The colt has the spirit and build to become a champion racehorse like his father. But like his wild Arabian ancestors, he has the instincts of a killer and a deep distrust of all humans. Still, Alex resolves to gain the fiery colt's trust, even if he must risk his life to do it. This is the third tale of Alec Ramsey, whose connection with the Black Stallion sets the standard for the fast-paced stories full of racing action and timeless adventure. Just doesn't do it justice, but very, very good book. So all you horse lovers out there, please go out and read this book. I miss reading the classics, like Walter Farley, and I think it was Anna Swell who wrote Black Beauty. Just written in a time when life was different. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I'm going to order the next one online, and we will go from there. I will let you know when I have another book read. Have a great night. I guess afternoon, maybe.